What if I told you that the loudest voices screaming on your timeline about abortion do not actually care about life or about women at all? What if the intense, blinding rage that has split this country in half is not a holy crusade, but a highly calculated, manufactured psychological game designed to keep you exhausted, divided, and incredibly easy to control? Look at the landscape of America right now. We are a nation absolutely paralyzed by a culture war that leaves almost no room for actual, breathing humanity. If you turn on the news or open any social media app, you are immediately forced into a brutal binary. You are told you must pick a side. You are either a champion of a woman's absolute freedom, or you are a righteous defender of the unborn. You must put the correct hashtag in your bio. You must view the other side not just as factually wrong, but as fundamentally, irredeemably evil. But I want you to pause for a second and step outside the political matrix. Step away from the picket lines, the protest signs, and the Supreme Court debates. Turn off the cable news anchors who are paid millions of dollars to keep your heart rate elevated. Because underneath all the shouting, underneath the algorithms designed to monetize your outrage, there is a quiet, devastating truth that the political megadonors are terrified you might discover. The truth is, the vast majority of us do not live on those extreme, screaming edges. Most of us live in the incredibly messy, painful, confusing gray area. Let us look at the deep psychology of this. Why does this specific issue trigger such an explosive, violent reaction in the human brain? Psychologists study something called moral foundations theory. It explains how our brains are literally wired to perceive right and wrong through different lenses. When a person who strongly advocates for abortion access looks at the issue, their brain is lighting up the moral foundation of care and harm. They look at the world and they see a woman in severe distress. They see a teenager whose entire future is about to be derailed by one mistake. They see systemic poverty. They see the physical, emotional, and economic toll of a forced pregnancy on a mother who cannot even afford to feed herself. Their deep, biological, empathetic instinct is to protect that living, breathing woman from suffering. When a person who fiercely opposes abortion looks at the exact same issue, their brain is lighting up a completely different foundation, the foundation of sanctity. They look into the womb and they see a divine spark. They see a vulnerable, defenseless human life that has inherent God-given value regardless of how it was conceived. Their deep, protective instinct is to defend the sacredness of that creation because it cannot defend itself. Do you see the tragedy here? Do you see the heartbreak of the American divide? Both sides, at their absolute core, are acting out of a deep human instinct to protect. But the political machine has weaponized our highest moral instincts against each other. They have convinced the side of care that the side of sanctity is full of hateful, misogynistic oppressors who want to enslave women. And they have convinced the side of sanctity that the side of care is full of heartless, selfish murderers who hate children. We have allowed politicians to take a profoundly complex, heartbreaking human dilemma and turn it into a cheap team sport. And here is the ultimate contrarian truth that the modern religious establishment desperately wants to keep buried. This is the historical twist that changes the entire context of the war we are fighting. If you go back in American history, before the late 1970s, abortion was not the ultimate defining litmus test for conservative Christianity. In fact, around the time Roe v. Wade was decided in the early 70s, the Southern Baptist Convention, the largest evangelical group in America, actually passed resolutions affirming that abortion should remain a legal option in many severe cases. They viewed it as a matter of religious liberty, medical privacy, and personal conscience. The Catholic Church had its strict theological stance, yes, but for much of the Protestant world, it was not a massive, civilization-ending political battleground. So, what happened? How did we get to a place where people are bombing clinics and threatening Supreme Court justices in the name of God? What happened was a deeply cynical, calculated political strategy. In the late 70s, certain political operatives realized they were losing their cultural power. They needed an emotional trigger. They needed an issue so deeply visceral, so psychologically powerful, that it would bind millions of Christians to a specific political party forever. They took the genuine, heartfelt faith of millions of people and they weaponized it. They turned the sacred pulpit into a partisan voting booth. They turned pastors into political foot soldiers. They took the sacred, terrifying, complex mystery of life and reduced it to a direct mail fundraising tool. And in the process of turning abortion into a political weapon, the church completely lost its ability to actually heal the broken people involved. Let us talk about the women, the actual, real human beings caught in the crossfire of this manufactured culture war. The mainstream, secular narrative, the progressive side, tells women that an abortion is just a simple medical procedure. It is just healthcare. It is just a choice. They tell you it is a quick fix to get your life back on track, and you should feel nothing but empowerment, relief, and independence. Shout your abortion, they say. But psychology tells us a different story. The reality of the human soul is infinitely heavier than a progressive slogan. Psychologists call it disenfranchised grief. It means a grief that society does not allow you to openly express. Many women sit in absolute silence, sometimes for decades, carrying a complex, suffocating trauma they are not allowed to name. Because if they admit to their liberal friends that they feel a profound sense of loss or guilt or a deep, haunting sadness on the anniversary of the procedure, the pro-choice movement might view them as betraying the cause. They are told to just be grateful for their freedom and move on. Their pain is invalidated by the very people who claim to champion their rights. But then, they look toward the conservative church, the place that was literally designed by Jesus to be a hospital for the broken. And what do they see? They see judgment. They see condemnation. They see angry people holding graphic signs outside clinics, screaming through bullhorns, calling them monsters. They hear sermons telling them they have committed the ultimate, unpardonable sin. The church tells them that their trauma is just the righteous punishment of an angry God. So where do you go? Where does a woman go when the secular world completely invalidates her grief and the religious world aggressively weaponizes her guilt? You go into hiding. You go into isolation. You bury the trauma deep in your nervous system. You build a massive psychological fortress of denial just to survive the day. You numb it with alcohol, with perfectionism, with overworking. You bleed out in secret because the world has told you that your pain is politically inconvenient. And it is not just the women. There are millions of men walking around with this exact same disenfranchised grief. Men who drove the car to the clinic, men who paid for the procedure because they were terrified of being fathers, men who pressured their partners into it, and now, 20 years later, wake up in cold sweats realizing what they actually participated in. They cannot speak about it either. The culture tells men they have no right to an opinion, and the church tells them they are cowards, so they, too, suffer in absolute silence. This is the greatest, most devastating failure of the modern religious institution. We have spent billions of dollars and decades of energy trying to change laws in Washington, D.C., but we have completely, utterly abandoned the bleeding souls sitting quietly in our own pews. We fought so hard to save the unborn that we forgot how to love the mother who felt so terrified, so abandoned by society, that she thought ending a life was her only option for survival. If we actually look at the life and character of Jesus, it absolutely shatters our modern political categories. It destroys our self-righteousness. Jesus never once lobbied the Roman government to change their legislation. He never stood in the town square holding a sign of condemnation to protest the immorality of the empire. Think about the story in the ancient texts of the woman caught in the act of adultery. The religious leaders, the conservative politicians of their day, dragged a broken, humiliated, guilty woman into the street. They had the law on their side. They had the moral high ground, and they had stones in their hands, ready to execute her for her choices. What did Jesus do? He did not join the protest. He did not give a speech on the sanctity of marriage. He bent down. He got into the dirt with her. He placed himself between the angry, self-righteous mob and the broken woman. He looked at the religious leaders and said, "Let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone." He cleared the room. He sent the angry, stone-throwing politicians away, and when it was just him and the woman, he looked her in the eye, and he offered her absolute, radical, unearned grace. He did not condone the mess she was in, but he did not condemn her for it either. He simply wrapped her in grace and told her to go, leave the brokenness behind, and step into a completely new. We have fundamentally misunderstood how God operates in the darkest, most agonizing moments of the human experience. God is not sitting in heaven on a giant throne, obsessively analyzing your voting record. He is not waiting to strike you down for the impossible, heartbreaking choices you made in your moments of deepest desperation, isolation, and fear. God is the architect who meets you in the absolute ashes of your broken reality. If you are listening to my voice right now, and you are carrying the silent, crushing weight of an abortion, whether it happened last week or 30 years ago, whether you feel a lingering sense of relief or a crushing, suffocating grief, or a terrifying, confusing mixture of both, I need you to hear something that the political megaphones will never, ever tell you. Your trauma is not a political talking point. Your soul is not a casualty in a culture war. Your pain is not a debate topic for cable news. The profound, agonizing tension you feel inside your chest is not proof that you are a monster. It is not proof that you are broken beyond repair. It is proof that you are human. It is proof that the situation was infinitely more complex and infinitely more tragic than a cheap bumper sticker slogan. God is not standing outside the clinic with a megaphone screaming at you. He is sitting with you in the absolute quiet of your bedroom at 2 a.m, when the panic sets in and the memory floods back and the tears finally come. He is not there to condemn the choice you made in the dark when you felt like you had no way out. He is there to help you rebuild your shattered soul in the light. And for those of you who have never faced this choice, for those of you who pride yourselves on having the correct political or theological stance, we have to stop allowing the media to dictate our empathy. We have to stop looking at each other as demonic enemies to be defeated in a culture war. We must start looking at each other as deeply wounded, terrified people who are just trying to survive a brutally complex world. True healing for this nation will never, ever come from a Supreme Court ruling. Healing will never come from winning an argument in a comment section. Healing will never come from passing another law. Healing only begins when we drop the stones. Healing begins when we step out of the artificial political matrix and finally acknowledge the shared, messy, agonizing reality of our own humanity. So, the next time this topic comes up, the next time the news cycle tries to trigger you, the next time your timeline explodes in manufactured, profitable outrage, I challenge you to do something radically, terrifyingly contrarian. Do not type a response. Do not just pick a political side. Refuse the binary. Do not feed the machine that profits off our division. Take a breath, step back into your own humanity, look at the people around you, and ask yourself a very difficult question. Are we actually fighting to save lives? Or are we just using politics because we are absolutely terrified of sitting in the quiet room with the brokenhearted?